Hey guys, welcome to the Something About Tuesdays podcast. I'm your host, Phebe Joi. Join me every other Tuesday for a lighthearted podcast to keep you company while you do your thing. Hey guys, welcome back to Something About Tuesdays, episode 82. I'm your host, Phebe Joi, and hi! Hey and welcome. Hey everybody. Look, y'all, I'm looking at my notes here. I don't even know where to start. These last couple weeks, I've got things to say. We'll just start at the top and just work our way down. Y'all, I feel like this might be a good episode. I don't know. At the end of it, you might be like, that was an interesting range of thoughts. But what's up, everybody? I hope your last couple of weeks have been good. Mine have been pretty decent. Back to work, doing my thing there. Hub's enjoying his paternity leave. Yeah, he is living it up. So, anywho, let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, y'all. To begin with, it's May. What in the world? May. Come on now. Come on, May. Anyways, so, okay, we're actually going to start with, I have the title car stuff. And I've got a couple of things when it comes to car stuff. So you guys remember last episode, I talked about how I had hit the garage with my car. The garage, I can't even say I hit the garage. The garage door hit me. Okay. I'm telling you, that's really how it went. That has to be possible. Someone tell me, is it possible for the garage door to be coming down while you're backing in? Like it doesn't catch it soon enough, right? Anyway, that happened. And this past week, I was able to get it painted. The little scratch that was painted. Was the paint job fantastic? I don't know. I think it matches decently enough. My husband said he ran his fingers across and he said, I can feel the difference. I was like, I guess, but at least it's painted. Hopefully it will not rust and we've taken care of that. Now I still need to get the back windshield wiper that broke off as well. But so far, car wise, everything else is going pretty good. It's rolling nicely. Y'all, I do treat my cars like they gotta be good because the way I drive, the way that they get handled by me, let's just say they need to be good cars. But anyway, so there are two stories that I have when it comes to cars. One is an accident, and two is an almost accident. So thank God the accident didn't involve me. Um, but y'all, my heart went out to the people it did involve. They were safe, they were fine. But imagine this. So I'm heading into work, okay? Regular school day, buses are out, people are out trying to get to work. And there's a bus. Imagine 3 lanes, left, center, right, okay? The left lane, okay. The center lane, I am in, and a car in front of me is in, and a car behind me is in. And then the right lane, okay. And in the right lane, you have a bus and some cars. Picture this. I'm driving down this road. Now, I know this road often has this bus stop. Like I've seen the bus stop plenty of times for whatever reason, just time of day. We just so happen to be there at the same spot. So I know this bus is going to stop soon. So the bus on my right diagonal. So it's ahead of me. Okay. It's not next to me or anything. Bus on my right ahead of me starts to slow down to stop and makes a stop. Car in front of me begins to slow down to stop. I, in turn, begin to slow down to stop. Okay. Cars to the left of me are still going, which I do believe they are allowed to do. I do think that for bus stops, it only has to be 2 lanes over, I believe. In order that you're required to stop. I could be wrong. I should look it up, honestly. I don't want to tell anybody wrong, but I do think it's the lane that the bus is in, the lane and then the lane next to that lane as well. And it might be different if there are other lanes, I think, with it crossing the road. I don't know. But anyway, let's just say there's no other way for a student to come from the left side. So for the most part, that third lane, that left lane, I do think is safe for people to go. And I think this is where we had an issue. Okay. So the bus stopped. Car behind the bus stopped. The car in front of me stopped. I slowed down to a stop. The car behind me it had time to stop. It wasn't gonna hit me. It was nowhere near hitting me, okay? But it decides to scoot over into the left lane to go around me. And this is where I'm like, I don't know if that car didn't realize that I was stopping because of the bus, because I was like maybe 2 cars behind the bus. But I mean, everybody's slowing down because of this bus. Maybe they just thought we were slowing down. So it very quickly gets over to the left lane and tries to like zoom past me, which is fine. But then it's almost like it realizes there's a bus there. And so that car slams its brakes. Okay. And maybe they thought, oh, I can go around because the far left lane doesn't have to stop. Or maybe when they saw the bus, they're like, oh no, I need to stop. Point is, they slammed their brakes and stopped. Okay. Now, mind you, they had gotten over to the left. And so there was a car that was in that left lane. And they had like jumped in front of that car, which they had enough space to, I would say. But when they slammed their brakes, that car, I have to admit, it was coming up kind of quick. I don't know if that car was also anticipating not stopping for the bus, but it had to slam its brakes. And I just knew it wasn't gonna make it, and it didn't. Slammed its brakes. It couldn't get over into our lane because there were 2 cars there. And it didn't really have room to go to the left. I mean, by the time this car could think about it, it was too late, and it just rear-ended that car in front of it that stopped in the far left lane. And this is where I feel bad. I felt so bad for that car because when looking past that car that had originally stopped on the left lane, like slammed their brakes, like from what I could see, very little damage to the back. Okay? Very little damage. It didn't seem like really much had happened. The car that couldn't stop in time, oh, the whole front hood part of the car was scrunched up on the right side, and I just knew that hurt. I was like, "Oh, man." I mean, they weren't going so fast as to like I said, I don't think anybody was hurt or anything, but man, it did scrunch. You could just tell this was going to be an inconvenience, a costly inconvenience that no one was anticipating that morning. And that's all I could think of. Like, you just go about your day, you just wake up, head into work, doing what you do, and you don't know what's going to happen. And it stinks. It stinks when something bad happens. And I just felt so bad for that car because they saw it. They saw it coming. They didn't run right into it. They slammed their brakes. They tried to move a little bit to the right, and yet it just wasn't good enough. And boom, they hit the back of the car. And I honestly, I don't know whose fault it was. I don't know if it was the people who moved over into the left lane's fault because they did slam their brakes. I don't know if the car behind them had enough time, had they been paying attention. I do not know. All I know is I felt bad and I felt blessed because I was like, thank God nobody ran into me. You know how terrible I would have been. Like, I was just so mad if I'm like in my new car already getting hit. But luckily no one did. But I did feel so sorry for that car. Okay. So that's just that. At any time you have an accident happen in front of you, it's interesting. I had another accident happen to me once where those situations where somebody was pulling out of, let's say, like a parking lot and they were turning left. And you know how, like, one lane stops, the other lane stops. But if nobody sees that third lane, boom, it was like one of those. And it just, boom, smacked. I mean, just smacked right into the car. And it's loud and it makes a big crunch sound. And it's like, oh my goodness. So yeah, accidents. And the thing is, I've been rear-ended before and blessedly not in my own, not in my own car. Um, but even just the slightest bump, man, you can go flying forward. Like it's just it'll you don't realize just I think how fast your car is going or how much power is behind the car until it like impacts something and then you're like, whoa, like we were only going like, 10 miles per hour, but hitting it was like blam. So anyway, be careful out there, folks. Be careful. And be ready. Be ready for the Lord. Not saying you're gonna die or anything, but I'm just saying be ready to call on the Lord. Be ready, to recognize the good things in life. Know that car is just a car. Like I know if that had happened to me, I would have been like, okay, This is just a material item. It's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm glad that I'm okay. Glad the people in front of me are okay. I just would have had to count my blessings because y'all, it's hard. It's hard when your things get messed up. But anywho, so that happened. Well, then y'all, the next one is not as serious as that. This one's so goofy. Okay, once again, I was driving to work, choosing to stop by to get me my chai latte. I've allowed myself a chai latte one day per week. And that's just my thing. Just one day per week, just as a little treat. Y'all, we gotta talk about that too. But anyway. So I was heading in and I was driving down the little road heading to the chai place, Seven Brew. And this I saw this truck like waving at me and the guy was waving and I just, kind of like smiled and waved and kept going. 2 seconds later, by the time I looked up from that truck, I saw this massive truck hauling, I don't even know what, trying to turn, and he was like 100% in my lane. So I had to slow down. I didn't have to slam my brakes because I wasn't going that fast, but I did have to like stop because he was coming towards me. In fact, you guys, I had to stop and like back up a little to give him some room. And he was giving me this mean mugging look. And I'm like, look, dude, I didn't see you. And now that I realize that's what the original little truck was trying to warn me of was the big truck. I'm sorry. I thought he was just being friendly. And so I back up and the guy's mean mugging me and he, managed to get his big old truck out of my lane back into his lane. And I give him a thumbs up, like, good job, you made it. And he just continued to mean mug me. I was like, this was not my fault, sir. But anyway, and that's all. I was just throwing out there that I gave him a thumbs up and he ignored it and it wasn't good. But I was trying to let him know that he did a good job other than being completely in my lane. And I was trying to let him know that he made it and he had room. But anyway. So you guys, that's my car stuff. Hopefully you haven't had any major car issues. My poor sis, her car engine light came on. Hopefully that can be fixed easily. Y'all, car stuff. I'm like, cars, they're going through their allergy season. The weather's changing and even the cars are like trying to catch up. I have to say though, I haven't had too much allergy stuff going on here lately. Which is kind of nice. I don't know if I'm speaking too soon or what, but I've been outside a few times. But even in doing so, I haven't had like major allergy stuff. So, yay for that. Probably because I was sick with the plague, like a month ago, which I think probably built up my immune system. I know it's probably unrelated to allergies, but still, that happened. So, blessedly, I haven't felt that sick since then. I've had some scratchy throats here, stuff here and there, but luckily not like runny noses and things, which usually happens when I have allergy stuff going on. So yeah, but anyway, all right, you guys. So speaking of opportunities to be outside, all right. You guys know I have been back at work. I think now 3 weeks. Yeah, because I got 3 more weeks and then an extra week after that. So I've been back at work 3 weeks. In the last 2 weeks, okay, and it's the last month of school. We getting it. Um, so I went on. Last episode, I think by the last episode I had mentioned I went on one field trip. Y'all, I have been on two field trips since. Two field trips. I think I got, yeah, two, three, no, two, just two. Two field trips since, okay? Now, the first field trip was to the park, okay, just to a local park. And and it was funny because the teachers were like, well, there's a main teacher who organized it, and she was like, we just want to go to hang out. And that's literally what we did. So we get to the park. We hiked for 20-30 minutes with the kids, which is just walk the pathway looking at the trees. And then when we came back, they played on the playground for like 30 minutes. And it was funny because we had, or I say they had scheduled the trip to be about 2 hours and like 30 minutes was on the bus there and back. And so it was like we spent as much time on the bus as we did at the park. But hey, field trips are fun. We love going places. So yeah, we went, like I said, we went to the park. It was nice. I saw all kinds. You guys, going to the park, I am seeing all kinds of moms and strollers. And because the next field trip we went on was the zoo, which I have a story to tell you about the zoo. But I saw lots of moms and strollers there. I was like, oh my goodness. And now this is so funny. You guys know how I want to be a zoo mom with a stroller, right? I do. A part of me was like, okay. this has become such a thing. I don't know if it's cool anymore. Like everyone is doing it. If there was only like a few moms with strollers, but I tell you, there was like 100,000 of them. And I was like, okay, it's too big. It's no longer cool anymore. So you guys, I'm going to have to find some really niche stuff to do with my precious baby, with her stroller. That does not include going to the zoo. Now, am I totally going to the zoo? Yes. Yes, I am, because that is part of the fun part. But then I want to find something more unique as well. Something that hasn't become commercialized yet, right? Something that's not as popular. If you have any ideas, let me know. And if I come up with something, I'll let you know. But I want another mom thing to do with, obviously a baby with a stroller, that I can do that maybe isn't going to be overrun with moms with the same idea. So, anyways, but that was the next zoo trip. So the first one was that park trip, and that was fun. The kids enjoyed it. They just basically had a really long recess, and the teachers didn't mind it either. It was nice as well. So the next zoo trip, okay, or the next field trip was to the zoo. All right. Now, before we go into that, in between the field trips, we did have a STEAM night, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and math. Sometimes it's STEM without the art piece, but we've started including the art piece, so it's STEAM. And that went well. I wish it was a little bigger. We didn't have as many families attend this one as the fall one, the literacy night, and that could be because it was, nice weather. People want to go outside and do other fun things, maybe other than come to the school. But it did make me think like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to go to my like kids' school events. I'm always thinking ahead. Like I mentioned in the last episode, I am way ahead of myself. Um, but anywho, so we did have our wonderful STEAM night. I did have a precious little first grader look at me and be like, Miss McKay, you still look pregnant. I'm like, little girl, excuse you. I do not. You guys, I do not. I don't still look pregnant. But I think it was the way I was standing. I was like holding my belly, just my hands resting on my tummy. And I think it looked like a pregnancy pose. And she was like, oh, you're still pregnant. I was like, no, no, no. Um, but anywho, so other than that, life with the kiddos have been good. So let me tell you about the zoo. Okay. All right. So we went to the zoo. Normally this is a kindergarten field trip, and it was. I think I know I did it when I was a kindergarten teacher. I'm trying to think if I did it at any other grade level. I'm, I do believe one year I did it in second grade. It was the year after COVID, where we couldn't go on field trips for that year of COVID and for most that year after COVID. But then at the very end, like the last 2 months of school, they were like, okay, we'll let you go on a field trip. And so we had all the money that normally we had to spread out between other field trips, all for one field trip, and it was the zoo. Because the zoo is the most expensive trip not one, the most expensive, but it's a relatively expensive trip for for us to plan. And so I remember we did go in second grade once, but that's I digress. So I went with the kindergartners to the lovely zoo. Now, while we were in line waiting to get in, apparent of course, like tons of other schools have the same idea. Honestly, I would say if you are a parent wanting to take your kid, avoid the months of April and May during the day. You would either get there early and be gone by like 10 or 11, or wait until after 1 or 2 to go, because we are there from like 10 to, and we leave around 1 because buses have to be back about 2. So, and there's tons of schools. It can be so busy, and it's all kinds of grades and everything. Luckily, when we were there, I think it was just elementary, but I mean, there have been middle schoolers there. I haven't really seen high schoolers, but I have seen middle schoolers and elementary age students at the zoo. So anyway, so we're waiting in line to get there. Cutest thing. I don't know if this came because of maybe the Peter Pan production that the third graders put on, but the kindergartners, while we were in line, were running around trying to step on each other's shadow. And y'all, it was so cute. I was like, I don't remember when's the last time I thought about stepping on someone's shadow. And they were like, I'm stepping on your shadow. No, get off my shadow. I'm going to step on your shadow. And it was just too precious. I was like, oh my goodness, stepping on shadows. What? Like like the innocence, the fun part of kids wanting to step on each other's shadow. It's just, it was just too cute. I was like, okay, I got to remember to do that with my kid one day. But anywho, so that was while we were standing in line. Now, once we made it into the zoo, everybody divided into the groups. I had my group of four, two boys, two girls, and off we went to explore the zoo. Okay. Now, just to describe my little four, I have one little girl who is eager to be ahead of the group. So she's one that I kept having to call back because she liked to get ahead. Now, she came back every time I called, so she wasn't defiant in any way. She just liked to be ahead. There's one little girl who would unintentionally wander off, because not that she was trying to be separate from the group, but she would just, like, for example, we were getting on the carousel and all the kids were staying nearby, and I look up and she's like all the way on the other side of the carousel. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm like, come back, come back. And in her brain, she was just looking for the perfect animal to sit on, and not thinking like, oh, I need to stay with the group. So that's one little kiddo. And then I had two little boys. One boy who is, I would call him a selective mute. He hasn't said a word to any of the teachers all year long. Not a single word. So that's our little guy. And then the other little dude, he is a kiddo who has experienced a bit of trauma, has lost some family members, but is the sweetest kiddo ever. Super sweet. And so those are my four. Good group, fun little group. We decide and I pretty much let the kids lead. We want to see the gorillas. We want to see the hippos. They wanted to see all the animals, not all of them, because I don't think we ever did make it to the penguins. In fact, or the polar bear. We went to the polar bear. We didn't see him. So I was like, okay, let's hit up at least the ones that we definitely want to see. Now, I have to stop because there was a moment that was almost a PPPP, which is my parenting parallels, power preaching parenting parallels, other than I'm not the parent. And that was, so one of the little girls, the one who likes to get ahead of herself sometimes, she kept getting ahead and I kept having to call her back, right? Because I don't want her to wander off and get lost. Now, for her, as long as she was ahead, this didn't register to her as being lost, right? Even though she was getting further from me and I kept having to call her back. The one time where she felt like she got lost, where she literally was like, I got lost, I almost got lost. She was closer to me than she had been like the whole time. But the difference was she had lost eye contact with me. Okay. So every time I've known where she's been, and all the times where she kept running ahead, she knew where I was. Even though she was ahead of me, she was aware. But there was one point where we were walking around a corner and I was turning right. And I even said, we're going right, but the kids don't know right. And she had started to go left, but then recognized that the kids were going right. And she was maybe an arm's length away from me. And she was like, "Oh, I almost got lost." And I was like, "What?" Because she was so close. She was arm's length that I'm thinking, you weren't lost. I knew where you were. Like if you would have kept going, I'd have grabbed your shirt and pulled you on over, but you had already turned by then. And in that moment, I thought that it was interesting that when she was further away, but on her terms, she didn't perceive as lost. But when she was very close to me, but not aware of me and wasn't looking at me, she thought she was lost. And I was like, that's just an interesting perspective. Like, I don't know exactly how that relates to our walk with God, other than God is always aware of where we are, right? And I think the moments where we feel lost and disconnected and feel like maybe God doesn't know where we are is when we don't feel like we don't know where He is. Even though He's right there, if we feel like we can't see God, then we start feeling lost, even though He can see us. So anyway, so I was like, what an interesting perspective. So I don't know how deep we can take that. I guess you could always say, if you feel lost, just put your eyes back on the Lord. But I just thought that was interesting, and I did think about that in the moment. All right, so after her feeling lost, after us riding the carousel and old girl trying to be on the other side, right? We go around the corner and they are getting hungry. And I know that for the most part, we're there. So we start about 11. We have to leave around 1. Kids are hungry. at 11. As soon as we get there, they're like, I'm hungry. I'm like, I know that I don't want them to eat till about noon because after they eat, they're going to be tired and worn out and they're going to be done. So we usually eat around noon. And they complain. But when they get there, they eat all their food and it's fantastic. So around noon, my plan was we got to get to where I know this park and picnic tables are. Well, y'all, little did I know they changed the zoo. Okay, they moved things around. That park and picnic table was not where I assumed it was because I was going to be like, we're going to eat at the picnic table and then I'm going to allow you to play at the park. Mm-mm. So we got to where I thought it was. I mean, we kept walking further and further into the zoo, thinking that they were like, how much further? I'm like, it's got to be really close. Well, when we passed this one point where I just knew that we had either passed it or it wasn't there anymore, I was like, huh. So it happened to be at this space where there was this little arena type area. So imagine a stage with some bleachers going up, not huge, but that's kind of what it was. It was covered and then continued on the path. And I was like, okay, maybe we can stop here. I said, let's go a little further ahead. And if we don't see the playground, we'll come back. So we walked a little further ahead. We did not see the playground or the benches and tables. So we came back. And the reason why I was like, I don't really know if I want to sit here is because on the stage there were some geese, okay? But there was probably like 20 people on the bleachers and they were all eating. And it said on the side not to feed the geese. And it didn't look like people were necessarily feeding the geese. The geese were kind of walking around. But they seemed for the most part to just be chilling. So I was like, okay. Now the girls and my kids were like, we don't want to be close to that. And I said, I agree. So we did not sit on the bleachers. We actually sat on the beachers, the benches that were behind the bleachers. So not in the arena, but close by. Okay. Okay. We start to eat our food. We're being entertained by the geese down at the bottom. There's probably like 5 of them walking around. For the most part, they leave the other humans alone. The other humans aren't trying to feed them. They eat. Sometimes the kids will run up and like chase the geese, and the geese will run away, and that's kind of what happens. I'm keeping a close eye because I don't want the geese to come up, walk all the way up the bleachers and the stairs up to where we are. But everything seems to be fine. Well, then I was like, ugh, I'm not super comfortable eating by the geese, but we'll eat and be on our way. And there's other people. Well, other people started to finish eating. Okay. So it got to the point where nobody was down at the stage area and the geese were still down there at the bottom, but the stage area was empty and the bleachers were empty. So it was just us at the very top on the benches. Still not bothered. I was like, it's fine. I did wonder if people walked by if they would think that I was dumb for trying to eat near the bleachers where the geese were. But I was like, you know what? Maybe they didn't realize there were other people here, but there were, and we won't be here much longer. Okay. So I was looking at the sign that said, do not feed the geese. I was making sure that my kids did not even attempt to throw anything down there, as I did see a couple other people do as they walked past, try to throw fries down there. I read that the geese could bite, but luckily I hadn't seen anything too aggressive. Now they were kind of nipping at each other whenever they would see food, but nothing too bad. Okay. That's down at the arena. So I'm standing between the benches. Imagine there's 2 benches. On one bench are my 2 girls. Give yourself a little aisle. And on the other bench are my 2 boys. So I'm standing between the two. I'm standing and eating so I can keep an eye on everybody. When on the walking pathway, this is a walking pathway that people are walking past constantly. Okay, there's just 2 benches on the side, probably for people to sit down and rest. But that's where we were. Okay, lots of people walking past. Well, there's a goose that starts to walk towards my 2 girls. Okay, imagine they're on the bench to the left, my boys are on the right. And I'm like, oh no, it's going to try to eat their food. And they bite. I don't want them getting near the girls. So it starts walking toward the girls. I step in between the girls and I'm like, and I go, no, 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 no to the goose. Okay. I'm shaking my finger at this goose. Tell me why the goose started hissing at me. First off, I didn't even know they hissed, okay? And I didn't know they have tongues. I don't even know. I don't even know how I saw that. But he starts hissing at me and almost looks like he's about to nip at me. So I take my finger back very quickly because I'm not going to let it get my finger. The girls, they don't scream, but they're making some noises of anxiety and they jump on the bench. So they're standing on the bench behind me, okay? And I am between them and the goose on the ground. And I was like, no, 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 no. And so I have in my hand a popcorn bag. This is probably what he wanted because I'm sure somebody fed him popcorn once. And I am waving my popcorn at him. And he starts trying to nip at my popcorn bag. So because I do care about the goose, because the sign said, do not feed them because it can be bad for them, I stop waving my bag at him because I don't want him to break it open and have all his popcorn to eat. And I'm like, oh no. So I try to stomp towards it. Like I use my foot to try to stomp and scare it. He started to back up and then he started to come back towards me with his hissing and biting thing. So I am like, no, 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 no. So I run around, like trying to go around it. And I'm like, girls, I'm trying to give them the directions. Grab your food and get off the bench. Let's go. Well, then, while I'm running around, the geese sets his eyes on my boys and starts going towards the boys. So I jump in front of the boys and I'm like, no. And I'm saying, no, goose. Now, people are walking past and they're being like, the goose is trying to get them. But nobody's helping and intervening, which I completely understand because I wouldn't have either. But I'm like waving at the goose with I think I had my purse this time, trying to wave at it. And he is snapping and being mad. And I'm like, boys, get your stuff. Now, here's one thing I've learned. Kids, do not follow directions. They were just sitting there. I'm like, get your stuff, get your food, put it up, and we got to go. Put it in the bag. Do you not see me here fighting this goose to try to stop him from getting your food? So they're like, stop. So they like are starting to gather their stuff. Well, then I'm like, okay. And I had already told the girls, get your stuff and jump off the bench and let's go. They did it. So the goose goes back towards the girls who are still standing on the bench, who are trying to get their stuff together. But kids, they have so many things. I mean, all the little packets trying to put it in the bag. And I was like, guys, put it in the bag quicker. Let's go. The goose starts coming toward them. So I jump in front of the goose again. And we are imagine I'm waving my purse. I'm yelling, no, 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 no. The girls are half screaming, trying to get their stuff. The boys are slowly getting their stuff. And I'm like, guys, we got to walk around. Go. So the goose, I finally get the girls to grab their stuff. They jump off the bench behind the goose, and the boys are walking around. So now the only person who has to escape is me. And I'm swinging my little bag at the goose, and he nips at my legs. And because then was I trying to kick it? I wasn't trying to kick it. I was just trying to get out of the way. And he didn't get my legs, thankfully, but he nipped and got my skirt and grabbed and bit my skirt. And I was like, oh my goodness. I jump away from the thing, and he goes running off in the direction of where the boys were. So the boys had jumped off the bench and were coming towards me. One of the boys, this is where I feel so bad, had dropped. He had like a hoagie bread bun sandwich thing. He had dropped his hoagie bun on the ground, and the goose goes for the hoagie bun and has this big, it almost looks like a hot dog bun, hunk of bread in his mouth. And I'm like, oh no. I'm like, guys, we gotta go. There's a part of me that wanted to wrestle the bread from his mouth because I'm like, you are gonna A, choke on that. B, if you eat all of that bread, it's gonna be bad, just like the people at the zoo said, and you're gonna die or something. But I was like, you know what? I'm not wrestling with him. He will fight me for that piece of bread. So I left him. So the four kids and I, we managed to run off with our things. The kids are barely holding on to their food in their bags. And we are like quickly walking away. The goose, feeling triumphant, has this big old massive chunk of bread on his beak. And I just feel terrible. And I'm like, okay, guys, we got to go. And I'm like, throw away your stuff. Throw it away. We're done. And that was my adventure at the zoo. You guys, I, I've, I don't think I've ever been attacked by a goose before. It was frightening, but I was like, it was so funny because my brain was like, run away, Phoebe, run away. But because I was trying to protect the kids, I couldn't, which I'm glad to know that I could stand my ground. But I was like, oh my goodness, like I kept jumping in front of the goose and the kids, but I could tell it was making him mad. And I was like, really, I would let you do your thing, but I can't let you get these kids because if you accidentally snap and bite one of these kids, and so I did stand there and try to protect the kiddos from the goose, and he did nip at my skirt and grab my skirt. But we all survived. I didn't get bit by the goose. The kids didn't get bit by the goose. The goose might have choked on the bread, but we made it. You guys, oh my goodness. I just, after that, I was so done. I was so done with the day. I was like, all right, y'all, we're heading back. But we didn't actually. We went to go find the playground and they played on the playground. We enjoyed the rest of our time. I gave them some popcorn that I bought and everybody had a little bit of popcorn and some water and we had a good old time. But that was the zoo with the goose. They are aggressive. Be careful with the goose. Now, I'm sure if I had food and like threw food at it, it probably would have ate the food. But then I was worried that it would try to follow me. Ah, you guys, I'm just glad that we all ended up being okay. But anyway, so that was that. I will say the only other thing that I wrote down about the zoo was that remember how I said there was a lot of moms and their strollers and things. Well, when we went to the park after the goose experience, for the kids to play, there were other teachers with their kids there, and I was just cracking up over the names of these kids. And I can't say anything because my daughter is going to be one of those ones with an interesting name. Because there was an Azalea, a Brennan, and a Deirdre, which all those are perfectly normal names, but it's just to me they're uncommon. Like Azalea, I haven't heard very often. A Brennan, I haven't heard very often, and a Deirdre. I was like, look at these names for these and they're little, like they're just little kids, and I'm like, oh, like a little Deirdre is just it's too cute. But anyway, and I was like, and that's gonna be my Phoenix. Like somebody's gonna be listening and be like Phoenix. They're like, they couldn't just give her a normal name. They had to say Phoenix, and I'm be like, yeah, it's Phoenix. So I do feel kind of like one of the moms who give their kids interesting names. But that makes me wonder then, when you hear an interesting name, then there has to be probably meaning behind it, right? Something to make it important and special as to why they would use that name. Otherwise, they would just name their kid a normal name, right? Phoenix has a special meaning to me. So yeah, so anytime you hear a strange name of a kiddo, maybe ask where they came up with it. Ask if there's a certain meaning, because I bet you there might be a little something, something to it. No, if there's not, some people just might want to name their kid something different, but maybe there is. Who knows? So that was my zoo trip. That's been my time at the school. We up next, you guys, we have testing. Within the last 14 days of school, you have to do your state testing and all of that. So that starts on Monday with the K through 2. They have to do district testing, and then state testing third and up starts that Tuesday. And so I'll be helping with that as far as like doing accommodations and things. Basically, that means the students who need one-on-one testing environments, I'll be helping those kiddos. So that's going to be the next couple weeks. That last week of school, I'm sure it's going to be a blast. And then we have one more week with teachers. We have our week that we have to make up our snow days. But then after that, you guys, after that, I'll be done. Woohoo! Oh my, I'm so excited. Now, I did mention to my coworkers I might come back at the beginning of next year just for that first week or so, just to make sure I have it pretty solid to, work and say that I'm working and do my unpaid leave or whatever. I haven't quite decided how I want to start that, but I definitely won't be working long. If I do start the year, I will not be working past September, okay? But anywho, because I want to spend time with my baby and be a stay-at-home mom. Like my husband, who's totally living it up. He's like, if you want to go back to work, I'll stay home. I was like, uh-huh. So that's been that. Y'all, we gotta talk about the 90 days. You guys. You guys, I think I've decided that the 90 days is gonna have to turn into 100. I have fallen behind. I have fallen so far behind on the devotionals because I was doing it like if I missed a couple of days, I would just do it all in one day. Well, then once you get so far behind, you're like, I'm not going to do like 5 devotionals in one day. And that kind of like defeats the purpose, right? So I was like, okay, I'll do it when I do it. And so I would do a day, but then I would miss a day, but then I'd be like, okay, I don't have to make up the day. Oh my goodness, you guys, I haven't done my devotional in like a few days now. And I'm like, and I just feel so far behind. But you know what? That doesn't mean I'm going to give up. That just means I'm going to extend my time. This is going to be the 100-day, 90-day devotional. Maybe even 120. We might have to make it the 120, 90-day devotional. And same, y'all, and same with exercise. And I did good for those first 3 weeks. Last week and this week, okay, y'all remember? how I said that I went to the festival with my mom and bought cookies, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them. You know what I did with them? I ate them, and I ate that. I ate the sourdough bread that I got, and for whatever reason, I don't exercise and eat well. Like if I eat cookies, that you would think I need to exercise, but for whatever reason, I'm like, this is already a rough day. I'll just exercise tomorrow. Like I won't exercise if I've eaten cookies. It's terrible, because I just feel like it's a waste. I'm like, what's the point? What's the point? It's just it won't even get the whole cookie. Like it'll be exercising for 30 minutes just to burn off 1/3 of this cookie. So why even exercise? And it's terrible, terrible mindset. But that's how I think. And so last week I ate cookies and that was bad. And then it didn't end because last weekend was my mom's birthday and we had nothing but cakes, which they had, y'all, I never did try that Biscoff cake, but they had the strawberry cheesecake bundt cake and it was so good. So yes, that lets you know that I ate that as well, which is terrible. And then Mom, Beth, and I went out to see a whole musical and got dinner and a musical. And of course, I had to get dessert there. So I got the peanut butter pie, you guys. Physical wise, my 90 days, these last 2 weeks have been terrible, but I'm going to get back on board. I'm going to get back on board. It's okay. We are not going to be defeated. We're not going to give up. Um, I just have to, I've learned what I have to do. There's two things I have to do. Either one, I just cannot buy it at all. Because there's one time where I was really wanting the crumble cookie and I simply did not go get it. And guess what? Because I didn't go get it, I didn't eat it. I didn't eat a crumble cookie. So that's the first thing that I have to do is simply not have ginormous, yummy, amazing cookies in my house. Because if I don't have it, I will not eat it. Okay. The bad thing is, golly, it's so quick and easy just to stop somewhere and get something. Okay. Which leads me into the second thing that I can do when I have moments like this, and that is substitute. So I have gotten, so if you get a regular crumble cookie, it's like 600 to 700 calories per cookie. I know. Well, I've learned that, I've always known they've had the mini cookies, but I've never been interested because I'm like, who wants a mini cookie when you can get the big one? Okay, I've changed. I've been getting the mini cookies. You can get a pack of 3, I believe, or 5 to 8, I don't know. But I get the pack of 3. They're roughly 200 calories a piece, but it's less calories, but it still fights that urge of I really need a cookie, a chocolate chip cookie, or a double chocolate cookie, or whatever kind that they have. Because Crumble offers it in the smaller ones. That's my thing. I'm like, okay, I can swap it out. The other thing that I've done to swap things out is I buy chocolate chips, and I've always had this. I love chocolate, just dark chocolate. So I'll buy dark chocolate chips that you would put if you were making cookies. And if I don't buy cookies or don't buy anything, I will just grab a small handful of those chocolate chips as my dessert. And it helps take the edge off, right? It curbs the appetite to want that chocolatey taste because it gives you just enough chocolate without like destroying your calorie intake for the day. So I'll throw that out there as help. um even though you guys, these last couple weeks, I've been doing that and getting the smaller cookies and getting the bigger cookies and enjoying my mom's cake. And there was a bake sale at church. You guys, it's been rough. But hopefully this next week, okay, I've got 2 weeks. And 2 weeks, hopefully I can report to you that I got back on track, that things are looking good because you guys know Mother's Day is one of my check-in days. Easter was a check-in day, which I felt like I looked great, felt great on Easter. So my next check-in day is Mother's Day. It was like a month later. So while these last 2 weeks haven't been that great, I've got about another week to try and just feel better for Mother's Day. So that's my goal this week is I want to feel good on Mother's Day. So I want to exercise next week, regardless of calorie intake. I don't even know if I'll check my weight because usually I check my weight every day. I don't even know if I'll do that. I want to do, it makes me feel good that week so that on Mother's Day I can wake up feeling good. Maybe weigh myself. I don't know. We'll see how I feel and feeling pretty, right? Feeling great on my first Mother's Day as as a mom, as a biological mother. You know, being a stepmother is amazing. I love my stepchild, but it's different. Being a mother to lost babies, I'm glad I had the opportunity to have babies, even though I lost them, but that's different. This is my first time being a mother to my own baby, and I am excited about it. And I just feel so blessed. In fact, you guys, this honestly could lead right into my one of my song segments, which you guys already know because I mentioned it before. My song segment, like probably at the beginning of the year, was God, I'm just grateful for you. God, I think I just called it God, I'm just grateful. God, I'm just grateful for you. That has just been my mantra. Like that has just been like lately when I've been praying. And I don't, and I've been, it's kind of been interesting because I've been thinking like, I feel like I should be praying a lot deeper than I am. But I've been just like every prayer has just been thank you. Like it's all I can say over and over. It's just like thank you. Like I don't want to ask God anything right now. I asked God for something for years. The same thing over and over. All I did every prayer, other than the few, was asking God to work in the situation. I am like, I don't want to, like, not that I'm asked out. I could always ask him for things, but like, he has blessed me. So I just want to say thank I don't want to ask anything of God anymore. I mean, in the moment, right? Like, I just want to say thank you. He's done so much. Like, I don't want him to have to, I don't want to be like, you already gave me this. Now let's move on to the next thing I'm asking for. No, I am in a season of Thanksgiving. And while there are things God could bless me with and I could use favor with, and I do ask God for those things, I want to overwhelmingly give him thanks and gratitude. And I think that's what I've done. And it feels so not enough because literally, like I said, in most of my prayers, I'm just like, thank you. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And that's like all I'm saying is like, thank you. Yes, I pray for this. Yes, I pray for that. But thank you. Like, yes, I want you to touch this situation, that situation. And yes, I want to pray for other people, but thank you. Like, thank you. So, a lot of times we ask people to pray for us and to, um, you know, reach for God and the word I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but it begins with the S, something heaven when you're like reaching for anyway. Um, but we ask, could you please reach for heaven for me? Could you pray for me? And ask and request this of God for me. But I almost want to be like, hey, is there anybody out there who has something that they're thankful for that I can thank God for? Because I'm in such a thankful, like, in right now in this place, I'm so thankful that God is probably sick and tired of hearing me say thank you for what he's done for me. So I'm like, I don't want a prayer request. I want like a testimony that I can say thank you, God, for. I'd be like, thank you for doing this for me. Thank you for doing that for that person. Thank you for blessing them with that. Thank you for healing them with that. Thank you for touching their mind. Thank you for working the situation out. Like, I want to say thank you. And like, I feel like I should go around and ask and be like, for all the people who ever prayed for me, can you say thank you? Can you say thank you to God for answering a prayer for me? For you too, if you feel like it, but if not, for me. Like, with all the voices that I had reaching to heaven, reaching for God for, to plead for him for my cause, for my desire, for my heart. That's the same amount of voices that I want reaching to heaven to say thank you. You know what I mean? So if you're someone who's listening, you've ever prayed for me for my situations, for life and for everything, could you also say a prayer for me, but this time a prayer of thanks? Like, that's all. Just say thank you. Thank you because that's how I feel. But anyway, so that's just my check-in on my 90 days. So we're gonna call it the 120 90-day devotional. I do I did see somewhere on Facebook, and my mom had this idea too, that mom has been writing scriptures, like have a scripture and writing it in a notebook, I believe. And I saw somewhere where this lady, it's taken her 10 years, but she just finished writing the entire Bible in cursive, she said. But she wrote the entire Bible in the past 10 years. That is amazing. But I really do like the idea of writing scripture, and I want to find a way to do it because I do think it could be fun. I don't know that it's something that I could commit to doing daily, but maybe once a week, maybe even once a month. Kind of you guys remember my Bible study days that I did once a month there? I think last year before. Um, I think I kind of want to try just to write scriptures to get scripture in my head. Because y'all know, I've been trying to find ways to incorporate more word in my life. I've been using the devotional definitely as one way. Um, I haven't been doing the Bible in a year, only because I just wanted to. I don't know. I just wanted to engage with the word a little deeper. Now, in the sense that I haven't read my Bible every single day, that's rough. Um, but I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to figure it out. Um, but I definitely want to get more engaged with the Bible. And so I do think writing the scripture, I like that idea. I just don't know how I want to do it quite yet. So hang on to that. That might be something that you guys see in the future or hear me do in the future. If you are someone who's ever written the Bible, maybe with journaling or just artistically or something, let me know. Let me know how it went, and what you do and how you use it kind of to get into your spirit, like other than just writing it. Because I could see myself like writing it and then be like, oh my goodness, I gotta hurry up and write my scripture today, writing it and moving on. But like, is there a way to write it, get it in, get it in my spirit, things like that? So that's the suggestions I'm looking for if you've got any. One quick check-in, you guys. I attempted to take 5 pills. I think last I talked to you guys, I had taken 4. I managed to get 4 down. I attempted to take 5 pills one day, literally almost choked on it, have not tried it since. I was like, I'm about to die. I was like, yeah, 5 pills was like, nah. I mean, I got it down. I did, but I choked and it was very uncomfortable. I didn't like it. So we're going to go back to practicing with 4. Once I feel good with 4, maybe we'll hit up the 5 again. We will see. That's just my quick check-in with pills. But anywho, so those are all my check-ins. Now I've got this. You guys know how sometimes I just have a list of the most random things and thoughts that I've had. Like, this is my random thoughts podcast, okay? So, and I hope you're just doing something fun or something terrible, like doing dishes, and you're like, okay, I'm willing to listen to anything to help with these dishes. Okay. So, just these are going to be just some quick thought things, just going through them. First things first, I went to the cutest wedding ever last Saturday on my mom's birthday, actually. It was a couple at our church, sweet couple, the cute wedding. I love the spring thing. You guys, she had tulips. All the tulips were beautiful on her tables as centerpieces. Loved them. They were stunning. They were so pretty. The wedding was great. The part that I liked the absolute best was one, her dress was gorgeous on her. Love the sparkles of her dress. She had like sparkly, glittery stuff on the dress and on her veil. Loved it. Looked super cute. But the groom, he sang to her, and it was the sweetest. Like sometimes when grooms sing, it can be a little cringe. Okay, not gonna lie. It's like. Just it can be awkward, right? Or when bride and groom sing to each other, it just depending on how they do it in the song choice and what they do. This one, not cringe at all. Sweetest thing. She looked just overwhelmed with joy in the sweetest way. And he was just singing straight to her, and you knew it. And he actually sounded pretty decent. And it was just you guys, I had to whip my phone out and record it. Like, that's how precious it was. I was like, I want to go back and look at that one day and be like, that was the sweetest thing ever. I mean, it was sweet, you guys. It was so sweet. That was that. So that was the wedding. Um, Next thing, I have a life hack for you that I have been using like crazy the last 2 weeks, and that is setting reminders on your phone through Siri. Okay. Now, all you have to do is say, "Hey," we're gonna call her S because I don't want to say the name and trigger her. "Hey S, and she'll say something, and you'll be like, set a reminder on my phone for blank at blank to blank to blank to blank for this, okay? Especially since my mind has been crazy, I've been setting reminders all over the place, like to cancel my gym membership. You guys, I'm canceling my gym membership. Um, Saving money, saving money. But I was like, okay, set a reminder for, I don't know, Thursday at 2 o'clock to call the gym and cancel. And it's like set. And what'll happen is Thursday at 2 o'clock, my phone will buzz and I will look and it'll be like, hey, call the gym. It's amazing. And I've done it like crazy now. I'm like, set a reminder at 7 in the morning that I have a staff meeting to attend at 8:15. Set a reminder on, today at this time, tomorrow at that time, Saturday at this time. And it's just been wonderful. Just little reminders. I'm like, oh, I remember after work, I got to go pick up some formula. Set a reminder at 4:45 to pick up some formula on the way home. Boom, 4:45, I get a reminder to pick up some formula. It is, y'all, it's a game changer. It is a game changer. And what's great is that when you click on it, it gives you the little like circle that you touch it and it just crosses the line through your little list and boom, you're done. Love it. So if you have not taken advantage of that, do so. And literally you just have to say, hey S, set a reminder for blank to blank. And boom, it's done. And I tell her thank you. And it's so funny because she responds, but she's like, no prob, sure thing. Oh, don't worry about it. Like, don't mention it was like one of them. And I was dying. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny coming from an AI. These AIs are killing me. But anywho, so that's just life hack. Do that. Try that. Another thing that I was thinking about was so I was going through, I had a lot of change in my car from when I had changed from my old car to my new car. I had taken the change out. And so I was like, let me just count how much money I have, which I think I had maybe $5, I think. $5 or some change, but all in change. And like a dollar something of it was in pennies. So I was just counting the pennies, being like, ugh, pennies. But then I was like, man, I remember I used to look at pennies to see how, like, what's the oldest penny I could get. So I started looking through it and I found some old pennies. The oldest one in this stash was from 1966, which is just crazy to think about. That penny's 50 years old, right? 66, 20. Oh my gosh, older than 50. 60? It's 50, okay, gosh, 66, 76, 86, 96, 06, 16. 26. Okay, 60. Yes. So y'all, my brain. So the penny is 60 years old. I was looking, I was like, that penny is older than me. Older than me. And then there was a penny that was from my year. There's one from 1989. In fact, there was two from my year. And it was kind of funny because um one looked different than the other. Like, for example, the penny that was from like 1966, I had one from 1968 as well, didn't look near as old as like one of the pennies that was from like 1983. And I'm like, that's so interesting. Like, I wonder how one penny can just look so much worse for wear than another penny when it's literally like 10, 20 years older than that other penny. Does that make sense? The 1966 penny looked better than the 1989 penny. Okay. And I was just like, what? It's like 20 something years older. How's that possible? But it is. Um, but then I started thinking, like, gosh, the life of a penny. I started to personify the penny because I was like, I wonder what all this penny has seen. Like, where has this penny been? This penny has been around since the 60s. Where has it been? I remember when I was younger, I used to keep pennies. And one of the pennies I had was from 1930 something, I believe, was my oldest one. And that's crazy to me. Like, I think now I'm gonna start, like, looking for pennies, because I don't think they're making them anymore, and people are starting to not use them anymore either. But, just to see, like, how old they are and to just think about, wow, like, I've just wonder what it's seen, like, through the decades, just like human beings, right? But this penny, where has it been? Like, has it made it to California? Has it been to Texas? How did it get back here? Like, it'd be cool to, like, keep track of a penny. You know how they keep track of, like, animals and their journeys and where they go? It would be kind of interesting to do the same for like pennies. You know how people used to do that with dollars, like write something on the dollar and just see if they ever get it back or whatever. Yeah, I'm kind of I want somebody to put a tracker on a penny and keep track of it. Maybe they could do it on nickels or something since pennies are about to no longer be in circulation. But Anywho, so I thought that was pretty cool, interesting as well. All right, so the next thing I want to add is, you guys, I it's spring. And upon like the beginning of almost every season, I get an itch. Okay. I get a couple itches every season. One of the itches is I get just the urge to just buy clothes. You're like, duh. Yeah, yeah, to buy new clothes for the season. You guys, I treat Shein like it is a social media app. You know, like you check your Facebook, you check your Insta, you check Twitter if you use Twitter or X or whatever, you check your threads, whatever you check, YouTube, whatever. I check that and I check my Shein like every day, just like what new stuff, what new things do we have here? What new little dresses do we have here? What clothes do we have here? What new little gadgets do we have here? You guys, I treat it, it's an I treat it like it's its own social media app. I look at it with so much interest. And then I don't always buy stuff, but I do put stuff in my cart. And then, but then it'll hit. Then it's like, I do want to buy stuff. I do want to get spring stuff ready. And you guys, of course, I had to buy stuff off Shein this last week. And I think I bought like 6 dresses, I think, and like 2 skirts and a pair of shoes. But I only spent like 100 some bucks, like for all of that. And that's the way I like justify it. I'm like, Shein is so cheap. And that is the other thing, like Shein is pretty cheap. And when you're trying to save money and not spend a lot, then you go for the cheaper stuff, right? Right. That's how I look at it. um, but anyway, so I get the urge to do that. And then I also get the urge to change my house decor. I like to, of course, switch it up. I do switch it up per season, but in doing so, I also like to rearrange my furniture. You guys, I rearrange my furniture per season. I move my couch like when it's the winter, I like to have it facing the fireplace because it's the fireplace. When it is, or for fall, I have it face the fireplace. For winter, I have it facing the window, with usually the Christmas tree in the corner. For spring and summer, I generally like to keep it facing the window as well, but sometimes I flip it back around to face the fireplace. It just kind of depends. And then I have my chairs, like I have my big oversized chair that I flip back and forth sometimes. So you guys, I of course moved some furniture around. I was still trying to be careful because y'all, it's 4 months. My baby will be 4 months on Sunday, or this past Sunday, I should say she was 4 months. But I did move some furniture around, and I still feel like in my little C-section, just stuff. Like it's achy, I guess. It doesn't hurt, but I feel it. It's weird. It's really weird. But anyway, so I did move some furniture around, loved it. I will say the good thing about having some cheap furniture is that it's really light. I've got some nice expensive furniture too. Like I've got this lamp that was like $400, is a big old piece. I mean, for me, that's expensive. And that thing is heavy to move. But then I've got like this chair that I got off like a Wayfair, and that thing I can almost pick up and put on my over my shoulder and move it, right? So it just kind of makes it a little easier to move things when you don't have the most expensive heavy furniture. But move stuff around, feeling so that helped freshen things up in the house. And about ready to do that spring cleaning. I haven't yet. I do want to do a little bit of spring cleaning, and then we had right before Fee was born, we had a lady come clean the house. And I think I want to invite her back and be like, hey, can you get us ready for the summer? So maybe we'll do that once I'm off of work. I'll do a little spring cleaning and then let her do some deep cleaning. But anywho, so there's that. And I'm about to wrap it up. The last thing that I want to say is so I was going to talk about my song segment here at the end and just say, God, I'm just grateful for you. Like, that's still my song. But then I was also listening or scrolling through Instagram, I should say, and I came across this video of this guy. His name is Clark Beckham. I'm sure you've heard of him. I have heard of him. He sings like kind of gospel style stuff. He probably sings other things too, but I've mostly just listened to his gospel style stuff. And he made this comment. He was like, "What if, Hercules? You guys know the Disney movie Hercules? I believe it's Disney anyway. the song Go the Distance, to find where I belong. I can go the distance. I'll be there someday if I can be strong. He was like, what if that's like a song about trying to make it to heaven? And he started singing it. And I was like, okay, I can see some parallels. So he's having his own little like parallel moments. But I was trying to think of the words. Um, Let me think. I can't think of the words right now, but if you go and listen to him, you'll be able to hear it. If you like me, because I loved Hercules as a kid, and I loved the soundtrack. I mean, I think I had the CD. I mean, not the CD. I think tape. Like back then, it was the tape soundtrack. With all the songs, I used to always sing "I Can Go the Distance," to find where I belong, and he'd hold that out for like 20 minutes. Oh, dun, dun. Yeah, I can go the distance. Y'all, that could be an encouraging song. I need to go listen to it and see just how much it can relate to the Christian walk of making it to the end, right? But anyway, you guys, so that's where we are. We are in spring, ready for spring clothes, ready for spring decor, ready to be outside, to go to the zoo and not get attacked by geese, listening to fun music, and ultimately being very grateful and thankful in the season. Um, it's it's an exciting one. It's a good one, and I really hope that yours is too, and that if your season's a little different than mine, that you can still find some light in those in your season, some happy moments, and some ways to say thank you, to the Lord for those good things that they may just be sprinkled in. It may not be a whole season full of it. It may be sprinkled in, but I hope that you can find those. And if you're seeming to have trouble finding them, that God will show you some things and let you see it and let you experience it and feel it. Because I'm feeling it right now, and that's what I want to share. I want to share that. I want to share that joy and that thankfulness with you guys. So anyway, thank you guys for listening. Thank y'all for tuning in, and yeah, I will catch y'all in a couple weeks.